Apple just teased an all-new product launch coming on February 19th. So if you have a calendar in front of you, that is less than a week away of Wednesday, February 19th. And I think it's the new iPhone 16e. And we're going to talk about it, don't worry. So Tim Cook took to Twitter earlier this morning, or X, with this post that says, "Get ready to meet the newest member of the family, Wednesday, February 19th, hashtag Apple launch." It also has this like choir music to it that's very chimey. I'll have it linked below so you can go ahead and check it out. I just can't put the audio in here. Although it looks like this is going to be the new iPhone 16e. And what I'm saying by that is Apple is kind of teasing that their iPhone lineup is going to get different. Now, I'm saying iPhone lineup because the iPhone SE4 or 16e has been rumored for so long now. I think I've been making videos on this longer than I can remember. I feel like probably 2 years at least we've been hearing all these rumors about a new iPhone SE. And based on this graphic, it's very possible that the halo effect is referencing that one camera, as well as it being the iconic Apple Silver that we see with MacBooks and the MacBook Pro and the Mac Pro and Mac Studio that come in that iconic silver. So I wouldn't be surprised if Apple just says no colors, you only get silver on this one, just to A, cut cost, but B, there's no longer a product red lineup, it seems, so you're losing one color already. So maybe they'll just say no colors for you guys. And the whole reason behind that would actually just to be to get you to upgrade to a regular iPhone 16. But now let's talk about what this iPhone 16e or SE4 is going to expect. So this is the most likely candidate, and we are going to possibly see other things, as it's been rumored to be watching Apple News to see what comes out lately. Now, the other things we are expecting is an M4 MacBook Air, a new iPad Air, and that's really it as of right now, based on the leaks and rumors, which is why the iPhone SE4 or 16e seems so likely, because a new member of the family would be an iPhone 16e, and it would also help streamline Apple's iPhone lineup. But let's talk about what's expected with the iPhone 16e or SE4. So it's going to have an OLED edge-to-edge display. Compared to the current 4.7-inch with the home button display, you're now going to have the iPhone 14 style, where it goes edge-to-edge. If you want the dynamic island, you are going to have to upgrade to an iPhone 16. And personally, I think the iPhone 14 body with the action button that it's rumored to be getting is honestly a perfect design. I do wish we were getting Dynamic Island just to get it on all of the iPhones and move away from notched iPhones, but hey, I'm not one to complain if we're finally getting a new cheap iPhone that seems by today's standards to be very good quality. Now, it's also going to be the first time we've seen Face ID in the iPhone SE. Now, if you haven't used Face ID, it is absolutely amazing. I do sometimes wish we had Touch ID, but 99.9% of the time, I just find Face ID so much better. And I have Touch ID on my Mac. I rarely use it due to the fact that my Mac can be unlocked by my Apple Watch that I'm always wearing. But also my iPad has it built right into the power button, and that's perfect. And maybe we'll see it on the iPhone with the camera control style buttons in the future, but hey, that's for another video. Now, this is the first time an iPhone SE is not going to get a binned down chip, and what I mean by that is that usually Apple will give it like an older generation chip, so I believe the current iPhone SE has the A14 chip, and it was released with A15 iPhones. So essentially it just got the older chip because Apple said, hey, we still have some lying around, we're going to just slop it into the iPhone. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they give it like an A17 Pro because they did that with the iPad mini, but I do also think then that would just confuse people even more, so an A18 chip would be perfectly fine. It's the same chip that's found in the 16s, and hey, if it's been down, it's okay. The A18 chip is more than amazing. I know the A18 Pro, with all the thermal enhancements they've made, has been absolutely amazing on my iPhone 16 Pro Max. So hey, whatever you want to give us, I'm okay with as long as it's relatively recent. Now, it's also going to feature a USB-C charging port, and this is going to mark the end of, well, officially the last Lightning iPhone that is currently being sold brand new at this time. So, I mean, I think this is a really good thing. I also think it means we're going to see the end of the iPhone 14, as Apple can no longer sell this in the EU due to their law. So I would not be surprised if Apple just streamlines the iPhone lineup with this release of the iPhone 16e, SE4, and just makes it much easier to understand for consumers, because right now it's a lot. You have the 14 and 15 both don't feature Apple Intelligence, the 16 or the 16 Pro and Pro Max. So you kind of have to pick and choose and know what you want to go in with. And also the SE, and then you have to kind of pick and choose and know what you want to go in with. Whereas now, if it's just 16e, 16 and then 16 Pro and Pro Max, it'll streamline the choice for consumers, making it much easier. I do think we'll see the 14 probably drop off a little earlier, as I mentioned before, just because it's the last lightning selling iPhone. And hey, if you're going to have an iPhone SE4 that looks just like the iPhone 14, you might want to encourage people to get that over the iPhone 14. Now, it's also going to have 8 gigs of RAM. Now, this is something that, as I mentioned before, is required for Apple Intelligence. So it's going to have most of the Apple Intelligence features besides visual lookup. So it's going to have the same features as the iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, essentially, where it's going to have Genmoji support, notification summaries, image playground, and all of that fun stuff, but none of the possibly useful stuff of camera control. I know personally I don't really use visual intelligence, so it's all good. I don't think anyone is going to miss it. And also, if you're buying an iPhone SE, you probably don't care for all the bells and whistles. Now, it's also going to have a 40 megapixel camera, so this iPhone is actually going to just keep the one camera design. So if you want the LiDAR scanner, the wide and telephoto, the ultra wide and telephoto lens, you are going to have to pay up for either the 16 with the ultra wide or the 16 Pro or Pro Max for all three. But hey, that's kind of what I think is going to be so great about the choices, because you're going to have similarly designed iPhone, but you're choosing between battery size, color, size of the phone, and also cameras. I think that just makes it much easier because they're all going to have very decent battery life. Now, another brand new thing that we haven't seen in any iPhone is going to be the brand new modem, which is going to be an Apple 5G modem. Now, this is going to be Apple's first step into the modem world that is going to be mainstream. We've seen iPad modems made by Apple and stuff like that, but we're now getting a 5G modem for the iPhone. Now, this is going to be leading the cellular connectivity for future iPhones if this goes well. I personally would really be excited to see that, just because it's one piece that Apple can now make in-house and have full control over, that'll be able to make it work better with, the satellite connectivity, Starlink, and all these other emerging technologies we have. And Apple can do it when they're ready, not when the carriers are. So we can possibly get more and more features and just make our phones better. And hey, maybe we'll even see an Apple cell phone network or satellite network. Hey, I'm not opposed to either, but let me know what your thoughts are about this potential iPhone 16e SE4 release, because I think this is going to be a very interesting one. And while you're down there, if you want to hit like and subscribe, I'd appreciate that as well. And I want you to remember that today's a good day to make a great day, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Peace.